Hi everybody, it's Mark, the Family Woodworker. Hey, this week we're going to talk about the death of my Delta contractor saw after only 4 years of relatively light usage. We're also going to talk about how it performed over those 4 years and the steps I tried to take to fix it. It's a pretty good story. Stick with us. Back in 2018, I was really looking for a wider surface for a table saw, considering the type of projects that I wanted to do. And this Model 36725 contractor saw from Lowe's was at a great price. Other saws of the same size were closer to $1,000 or more, and my budget was limited. The 13-amp motor was not best in class, but I liked the other features like the easy-to-crank blade height adjustment handles and the T-square rib fence, which was pretty accurate and easy to lock down. After calibrating the measure line, the saw made consistent cuts at that setting, and the fence never moved. I used the Delta on most every project that you've seen on my YouTube channel, and it performed pretty well for repetitive cuts on thin and some thicker stock too. The miter gauge was accurate as well. It made true 45-degree cuts. The saw was also able to cut through thick hardwoods like this 2-inch thick Paduke, both in crosscut with my mini sled and ripping it down the length of the board. My saw did actually overheat twice during the 4 years I owned it while ripping some 2x4s in half, which was a little strange, but it was left to cool down and we hit the reset switch for it to get back to business. The base is relatively mobile with a step-down lift wheel, which made it convenient to move the saw around the shop. It also came with a good on-off safety switch for a quick shutdown. And now with it all disassembled, here's the reset switch on the bottom of the motor housing when the motor overheats. Now let's talk about the failure. There is a threaded rod that cranks up to a bushing, which controls the height of the motor and the saw blade on the table. On my last project, the saw blade assembly came crashing all the way down while trying to crank it up. You shouldn't be able to do this.
You can't do that!
I downloaded the parts listing and tried to find the bushing on the Delta website. First, I tried searching by model number. Then I tried searching by the manufacturer part number. Maybe it was time for my old STG persona to kick in. You know, not the venereal disease, but super tool guy. I thought I could rig the saw blade to a fixed position above the cutting table. This silver solder on the stripped threads and a small clamp was enough to hold up the blade, but just not very safely. I also went searching on other parts sites for the bushing, and it was either listed as discontinued or unavailable on all of them. I had my doubts about wanting to rescue this table saw, considering the bushing flaw and the underpowered nature of the direct drive motor. I had made up my mind at this point to replace the saw, and started to disassemble the entire tool. There's a feeling of peace and contentment that washes over you when you reach a difficult decision and you know how you now want to move forward. That feeling manifested itself into a zen-like state of mind while pulling parts off of the saw and piling them up on the floor. Now with everything disassembled, here is that bushing that sits inside the aluminum motor housing. And here's that threaded rod that controls the height of the housing and the saw blade. The screw is supposed to mesh with the bushing so that you can crank up the blade. Nope, gone. Well, let's talk about the good, the bad, and a summary of my experience with this saw. First of all, the good. If you're an average homeowner, you're going to be using this saw every now and then. I think it's a good value that gives you a wide platform for cutting paneling and wider stock. It's got some good features and some good tools. It's not bad. The stuff that's not so great, I think the motor is underpowered for heavy use, and I've got a big problem, of course, with this mechanical failure. A threaded screw, a threaded rod, and a bushing should never fail on any price point saw. So in terms of my general summary, if you're an average homeowner, then I think this wide platform table saw is not bad. but the thing should last for more than 4 years. It does not perform like a heavy usage contractor saw, which is the way it's marketed, and I expect basic mechanical parts should actually never fail. As for the leftover parts from the Delta, I'm actually going to repurpose the cast iron tabletop. It's going to make for a solid flat platform for a drum sander. And the motor is still fine. I think I can gear it down with a couple of pulleys and bring the RPMs from 3450 down to a little over 1,000, and it's adequate for turning a sanding drum. I'm looking forward to this build project to save those parts. Hey, wait a minute, what did I buy? You'll have to wait for episode 2 of Tales of the Saw for the unboxing and first review. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Hope you subscribe to our little channel. We hope you like the video. Take care.